Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/thenerdcore. Over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player.
Hello, nerds. You're listening to an episode on the Nerdcore podcast feed. If you're feeling generous, please consider pledging to a tier on our Patreon at patreon.com/thenerdcore. We have tiers as low as $1 per month. Thanks so much, and enjoy the episode.
Hey everyone, before we can get into today's episode, I need to talk to you all about Anchor. Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast and is the platform I've been using for over 2 years. Anchor is easy because it's free, includes creation tools on your tablet or phone from the get-go, rewards creators with sponsorships with no minimum listenership, and best of all, they distribute your podcast to places like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and many more. So if you want to make a podcast, you should download the Anchor app or visit anchor.fm. Now let's get into today's episode. Back, you're listening to the Nerdcore Podcast. The podcast reviews movies and talks that nerd shit. This is episode 306, and it is your top 10 movies of 2019 list. Of course, we always do the end of the year wrap up, and it is the Nerds You're Kinda here to host the show alongside my wonderful co-host, Young Yoda.
It's the end of the world as we know it. Oh, sorry, just 2020. Never mind.
No, it's not the end of the world, Brad. But
are we going to get copyrighted for that?
It's not 2012.
Don't sue me, REM.
What's up?
Don't sue me, REM.
No, don't sue us, REM, please. I promise you, we do not have the money to be sued right now.
We have no money.
We never did have money.
Give us a few years.
Give us a few years, I guess, right? You know, but we definitely never had the money.
We promise you, we might be worth suing in a few years.
Yep, for sure. Well, what's it called? Today we're going to do our top 10, and then we're recording another episode. We'll be doing our Mandalorian full season review, spoilers, and everything. But right now we're going to do our top 10, and then the next episode you'll get the Mandalorian. Just, what's it called? The piece of advice. Yeah, those episodes were filmed back to back, so we're just trying to get as much as we can out to you guys during the week, so that way it is, enough for the week. But, yeah. So this will be coming out on Sunday, and then Mandalorian on Monday, maybe. Both of them at the same time? I don't know.
It works somehow. I don't know.
So, if I say in here, like, oh, as of the 30th, this was my list, then I don't know. But look, I am not planning to watch anything else, and this is the finalized list. And I don't know about Brad, but this is for sure where my stances are. Yeah,
I think I've left off with Uncut Gems and getting Ford v Ferrari in there at the last minute.
Yeah, so we basically just got all the last stuff we had into our list. So it's going to be a lot of fun stuff, dude. And it's been quite the year. We saw some good stuff, some bad stuff, but, it was a pretty fun year of movies.
And television, for sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure, dude. What's it called? Television rocked this year. And I can't wait for next year because we already have a new season of Westworld coming. And
have we heard on the Watchmen yet?
Nope.
Damn. We know the Mandalorian's coming back with season 2.
Oh, of course, it was just announced today, fall 2020.
Yep.
But I'm very, very excited for that. I'm sorry if I have long pauses in here. I'm changing my volume right now.
You're trying to figure shit out.
Yeah. I apparently have come into the conclusion that apparently something's going on with the episodes. That's why there's a little ringing. I'm really sorry for that, guys. I don't know what's going on, but we're going to try to get to the hang of this. It wasn't happening when I had my Mac, and it's happening right now when I have with this new computer, so I just don't understand this stuff. So we'll see how it goes, and yeah. You want to just get into it? Let's go ahead and get into our list.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm down. Are we starting just number 10 like usual?
And As usual,
from there?
10 you, 10 me. 10 me, 10 you, 9 you. And then when we get to 2, after 2, we do some honorable mentions, and then we get to 1.
Yeet.
All right, Brad. let's go ahead and start off here. What was your number 10 of this year?
Okay, I'm going to catch a lot of hell and our guest and our friends for starting this out with this as number 10, because I'm sure they would say it deserves to be much higher. But I'm going with Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood at number 10.
Oh man, you really went for it with that one. Yeah, 10 and what's it called? That's not on my list.
It's on your list? Wow. Oh, wow. Oh, they're going to hate you even more. At least they made it in my list.
Yeah, forget about you. And they're going to hate me, dude.
I thought it deserving. I mean, it wasn't the Inglourious Basterds Tarantino that I know and love, but it was more, towards the Jackie Brown kind of Tarantino that I know and love. But I thought it was a good movie. I wish Tarantino's rewriting of history was actually what had transpired with Miss Sharon Tate. Unfortunately, that's not how it goes. Storytelling, great writing, and Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio, along with Margot Robbie, they knock it out of the park.
Yeah, I love that movie. I really do, but it just could not make it onto my list. And I'm pretty sure people are not going to like me for that. But, it's whatever.
I mean, I understand. It made it number 10 on mine. There were a lot of good movies.
Yeah.
Plus, I think you watched a bit more things that I wanted to see, like Honey Boy. I wanted to see Honey Boy and The Lighthouse. I wanted to see that. I'm sure I got into the theaters or somehow managed to watch those and other
watched a lot of stuff this year. I've counted it. I believe it was like 40 movies I watched at the theater this year.
I mean, it's a shit ton. We've watched a shit ton this year. We've really putting ourselves into this whole we're going to make a movie podcast and we're going to watch a lot of movies thing.
Pretty much, yeah. And guess what my present was, by the way. I have 3 months of AMC Stubbs A-list.
Hell
so
yeah!
I get to watch 3 movies a week in any format I want. So there's going to be a lot of reviews going to the site.
Well, I got $40 in a Cinemark gift card, so I'll be going to the theater for something.
Yeah. So if like the first 3 months of the year have like 5 reviews per month or 6 on the website, you understand why.
You know why? Because Raul is just living in the theater at this point.
Yeah. My number 10 is probably a movie that you did not get the chance to watch, and you probably didn't even know about it. And a lot of people probably didn't get the chance to watch it either because they didn't know it existed. That is Christian Petzold's Transit. It is a German film that came out last year but got its American release this year. So it still counts as a 2019 movie here in the America. It is about a man who steals he doesn't steal the identity, but he steals the identity of an author to get himself out of France that is occupied in the modern times by the Nazis again in the Third World War. So it's just his journey with meeting the refugees and also just trying to get out of France, but also understanding himself and also and the people around him at the same time. It's a really interesting tale of like fascism.
That sounds mighty depressing.
I love it. Yeah. Brad, what was your number 9?
My number 9, and I will catch probably even more hate because I put this above Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That would be Spider-Man Far From Home.
All right.
This movie, it's a Spider-Man movie. Come on. This was my favorite, probably. I'm checking this list, make sure I'm not. Yeah, okay. This was my favorite Marvel movie of the year. I think the script and everything went well for them, and they did Mysterio right. They did this villain perfect. And that's why I think it's deserving to be on this list and to be above Endgame. That's that's gonna get me a lot of shit, I'm sure. But I found this movie more enjoyable than Endgame or any of the other Avengers.
All right, no, I mean, hey, that's your opinion, bro. But damn, I did not expect for it to be a number 9 though. I thought you'd have it like in your 15, around the 11 to 15 for sure.
Well, it was dancing around in there, but I really enjoyed the movie. So I figured, all the ones that are coming ahead of it, I think you'll understand why. but these last two they just made them in because one I thought they were both very deserving, and two, I enjoyed them.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Many people didn't enjoy them as much. Enjoyed this Spider-Man movie quite a bit.
Well, I mean, it's your list, man. So, my number 9 is a movie that was my favorite movie of the year at one point, and that is none other but James Gray's Ad Astra. I mean, talk about a movie just for me. Depressing in space and looks beautiful. That's very much you're asking for me to love your movie.
And I heard it is probably Brad Pitt's
my favorite
second best performance.
This is my favorite performance of the year from him, for sure.
For the year, but his second best performance. Yeah, I'm saying
I like this more than his performance in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I love his performance in that one.
I'm just saying, the assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford, the movie with the longest fucking title, has his best performance.
Yeah, well, of course, yeah, but this was his best in the year to me, and it's melancholic, it's a melodrama, it's just about the ventures of space and how this guy he's just being deconstructed psychologically as he just gets closer to finding his father. It's crazy. It's a really good movie.
Well,
I love it.
It's one of those I wanted to see, but I never. I know it's online now, and I'm gonna watch it, but it probably won't be this year.
Probably, man. You were too busy watching the car movie. All right, your number 8, Brad.
I squeaked that in.
What was your number 8?
My number 8, and I think it's. I think you might agree. I don't know if it'll be on your list. It's probably not on your list, but It Chapter 2.
Yeah, it fell off my list hard.
Yeah. That's what I figured. But it is still on my list. One, I didn't see as many movies as Rule this year. There's a bunch in there, like The Lighthouse and the rest, where it probably would have bumped some of these off.
For sure.
Stephen King has brought horror back in a way that we never thought he could, especially after watching Riding the Bullet this year. Yeah, and you start to wonder, how do you go from Riding the Bullet in 94 to It Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 in late 2010s? And I would say that's probably best by great directors and great actors.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I love It Chapter 2. It's just that the more I watched and the more it sat with me, I was like, oh, you know what? This is gonna go down. Like, it's hard for some of these movies to stay on my list.
Well, and I mean, it's dependent. The more, like I said, you watched more movies, and I knew stuff would change, especially when you're like, oh, I love Honey Boy and The Lighthouse, and like you're watching all these other movies, and I get it.
Yeah. My number 8 is a movie that managed to stay on my list since I watched it, and I was not expecting this movie to stay on my list, because so many good stuff was coming out this year. But that is none other but Ari Aster's newest film, Midsommar. I love this movie. It is an incredible depiction of grief and loss and the way that communities can manipulate us, whether that be the people who we love the most and we think that are good for us, but sometimes they could, manipulate us in the harshest ways. And it's an incredible film that I gravitated towards the whole year.
And there's a lot of yelling from what I hear.
Yes. What is your number 7, Brad?
My number 7, and I will say it has been great to see this man return to form and collect all the accolades. He has recently performed on SNL, bringing back such characters as Buckwheat and Gumby. That is the great
Gumby,
Eddie Murphy, and Dolomite Is My Name. The funniest movies come out this year, and probably one of the best performances we've seen from Eddie Murphy in a long, long time.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. Yeah, I love Dolomite. That is not on my list, though.
That's okay. I mean,
it's in my honorable mentions, though.
We got different tastes.
Yeah, it's in my honorable mentions, though. Dolomite is incredible. I'm telling you.
If you'll see anything from this list, is we got different tastes.
Yeah, that movie is incredible. I love it. I'm a big fan of Eddie Murphy. It made its way into my honorable mentions, though. That's for sure. If I had a top 20, that'd be in it. 100%. All right, so my number 7 is Gaspar Noé's Climax, my most rewatched movie of the year, by the way.
That was actually started at number 1 on your list.
Yes.
I remember that.
Yes. This movie, I've watched it 3 times this year. My first time I watched it when I bought it. Second time I watched it just to rewatch it. Third time I watched it for the cinema condition, which you'll hear all about next year. And I'm overdue a 4th rewatch now. This movie is hell on screen. It is everything I ever thought I'd get from Gaspar, and he still keeps on delivering on every cylinder, man. I love this dude, and he is possibly my favorite director of this decade.
Very nice. And also, they don't have to wait to listen to that. They can join the Patreon. True.
Yeah, you don't have to wait. You can join the Patreon, $1 a month, and you get to listen to the Cinema Condition episode 1 and episode 2. So I'll give you the hint. The first episode is on Climax. The second episode, though, it's on a different movie. So you guys go check that out.
And I'm going to eventually be on it for once.
Oh, yes, sir. Yeah. Watch you be on the Cinema Condition first before you're ever on the Impaired Files.
Oh, I already figured that. the way it's going, Impaired Files is going to be a while.
So what is your number 6, man?
My number 6 is a recent view.
Mm-hmm.
It is a great piece of cinema that has come out late this year, and it might just get Adam Sandler an Oscar award. That is Uncut Gems.
Ooh, I have not seen Uncut Gems, and that was one of the movies I was scared that if I were to watch it, it was going to change my list up. And I don't think I'm going to get the chance to watch it before the year ends.
This movie falls right into everything you love, Raul. It's got characters you hate. It's got a main character who has quite a few issues, namely a gambling addiction. And the way the story ends is how you kind of wish it wouldn't end.
Yeah, I am very happy for the recognition that the Safdie brothers are getting, even though they did get a lot of star power with Good Time. It's still not on par with the amount of recognition they're getting right now because of Uncut Gems.
Oh no, I mean, and I think that has everything to do with star power. They threw Adam Sandler, known for comedy roles and particularly not very good comedies lately that he's done for Netflix. And he played this character great. I mean, and I think you have to give that up to the directors and the writing and everything. This movie is pretty close to flawless, like the gems in the name.
You could say that Uncut Gems is a gem, bro.
Indeed.
All right. My number 6, Brad, is another movie that was my number 1 at one point. Todd Phillips' The Joker. What is there much for me to say? This movie is incredible. It's just all around one of my favorite movies of the year because of what it depicts and just the risk that we took this year by having this movie come out. And if I could say there's been if a movie could represent 2019 as much as it could, it's been Joker. Just the polarizing nature of it, but everything stacked against it, it was still able to reign strong at the box office and do so much incredible stuff with that. And hopefully Joaquin Phoenix is on his way to becoming the Best Actor winner of the Oscar, even though he is not my favorite performance of the year. It's going to go to another person, and I'm going to talk about that later.
See.
Yeah. Brett, what is your number 5?
My number 5, and it had been my number 1 at one point. It is Peanut Butter Falcon.
All right. That is another honorable mention of mine.
It is it was probably one of the earliest films to make me actually feel good at the theater this year. And I think it's a great return to full. He's had quite a rocky before all this, quite a rocky year, and I think this film kind of helped pull him out of that.
Yeah.
And we just see great performances from all the actors.
Yep. And in my heart, man, I believe that Shia deserves his Best Actor nom, and to me, Zach deserves a Best Supporting Actor nom as well.
I agree.
I agree. It's not going to happen, sadly. I don't think the Academy's going to do it.
Well, I don't think they really campaign for it too, because from what I understand, that takes a lot of money, which, I mean, Peanut Butter Falcon was made on a shoestring budget.
Yeah,
And
it is the most successful. It is the most successful independent movie this year, though.
Which I think, you got to give it up for that. And it's deserving of that.
Yeah.
It is one of those movies where we've been bombarded this year by sequels and whatnot. It's one of those shining gems from the indie world.
And I think when we look back at this year, especially, we're going to think about, just how the Academy snubbed this movie. Because it is 100% deserving. And
Go buy it. Go buy it, people.
Go buy it. I believe it was $12.99 last I saw it on Amazon. So, guys, you guys can afford that. Come on. Buy it. My number 5 is actually a movie that, compared to everything else, what's it called? I thought would be my number 1. But this is Martin Scorsese's The Irishman. I love this movie. It is an epic in every sense of the word. Brad and I fall on different spectrums when it comes to this movie. But this movie blew me away. I mean, Scorsese is way past his prime, but he's still making mobster epics that fall almost in touch with Goodfellas. So, I love this movie. I think they did an incredible job. I don't really care about the whole digital effects. It doesn't distract me, mainly because I really can't see the damn difference. So, I just love this movie, man. It was everything I wanted and more from it. Also, most badass moment of the year, Joe Pesci and Robert De Niro speaking Italian. That's it.
While eating bread and dipping it in wine.
Yep, 100%. Grape juice. Brad, what is your number 4?
My number 4 is surprisingly the one you just mentioned, The Irishman. I got to put it out there. I think it's a great return to form from Scorsese. And I love a Scorsese mob epic. And the only thing that, it's not that I didn't like it, but it was different, was a toned down Joe Pesci. But he played that role to a T. And I got to give it up for De Niro. Because, I mean, Scorsese and De Niro, the only other one I can compare that to is Kurosawa and Mifune when it comes to a director-actor pairing.
Yep. Brad, my number 4 is none other but Robert Eggers' The Lighthouse. I'm talking to you, man, about one of the greatest freaking movies I've seen this year. I knew 2 things. This movie's about sailors going mad, and that Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe are in it. And that was it. And I got out of that theater amazed at what I watched.
And from the trailer, they might have fucked an octopus, but we don't know.
Yeah, well, a mermaid. Well, it's wild. It is encapsulating. It's everything I didn't know I needed from a movie, dude. The whole time I'm just there with my mouth open. I'm like, what the hell am I watching?
It's one of those that I wanted badly to see,
So
but
badly.
never got the chance. So bad, because I kept mentioning it. I want to go see this movie, and I showed it to Brenda, and Brenda's like, I don't know about that, and it never happened. So
yeah. Brad, what's your number 3? By the way, what's it called? My 5s, my what's it called? Everything from 4 to 1. Those are the perfect 10s to me. I'm sorry, 5 to 1 are my perfect 10s.
I kind of agree with that. Yeah, mine too, as I would consider.
What is your number 3?
My number 3, you've already mentioned it, is Todd Phillips' The Joker.
Oh, yeah.
For all the reasons you recounted, and I'll just go in and saying this movie reminds me of so much old school Scorsese. It's not funny. And I love that. I love being the way New York looks, and the way this movie makes you feel and how it makes you just feel uneasy throughout the whole thing in a way that I didn't know a movie could make me feel, other than maybe 8th grade. But 8th grade did it in a way that wasn't through violence.
No, it was
it was through more like nostalgia, like just bad memories. Whereas Joker, it's like, holy shit, I really do think Joaquin Phoenix just shot all these people. That's what it came off to me and made me feel so uneasy. Made me feel so uneasy to the point when I went up to go to the bathroom, I was scared that all these people were going to think like, because I'm the typical white bearded dude. So I'm like, no, I'm just going to the bathroom. I'll come back real quick.
I promise I'm not some crazy dude here.
Yes, I'm just here to see the movie.
Yeah, I just can't hold my pee. My number 3 is none other than Honey Boy from director Amarel, written from a screenplay by Shia LaBeouf. I mean, this movie is therapeutic in every sense for Shia. I think that when we talk about cinema being pure art form that is very intimate and personal, this is the movie that we use as an example. I'm telling you that throughout the whole movie, I felt I shouldn't be watching this, but I felt very, very happy that I was, because that is a step in showing Shia's bravery to just showcase his story and show that he fucked up, but there's a reason to why he fucked up, and just knowing what his childhood was, it was wild.
And that's another one I looked everywhere I could find to try and see it, and it just didn't happen.
Yes.
That's kind of why I was actually looking for that before I went to see Ford versus Ferrari. So that's the one I was trying to watch.
This is a performance by Shia that's unlike anything I've ever seen. I mean, he could almost be my favorite performance this year, but I feel like he has something that everybody else does not have this year, which is he's playing his father. He's playing somebody he knew. He's playing somebody who he's able to study for years and years and years. So it's you pretty much has the advantage at playing him.
Well, and that takes some kind of form of bravery, in my opinion. Like that's, I mean, I wouldn't want to play my father in a movie.
No, me neither. Hell, I'd be really weary of directing a movie about my father.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brad, what is your number 2?
My number 2 is what Raul keeps referring to as the race car movie.
Yeah.
It is, I will say it. And again, this is after one recent watch of just like an hour or 2 hours ago. This is probably my favorite performance from Matt Damon. I think Oscar nom he deserves. And it is just terrific. It is one of those, it's entertaining, it's exhilarating. It kind of gave me the same feeling Solo did of I really enjoyed this. I sat there and I watched this whole thing, and not once did I feel like, this is boring or this is slow. No, this is full on Ford versus Ferrari. Let's fucking go fast.
Yeah. That's awesome, dude. I still have not watched Ford versus Ferrari. That was on my watch list, but I did not get to it. My number 2, though. Wow. This was my favorite movie going experience of this year, because my number 1, I did not watch it in the theater. That is none other than Bong Joon-ho's Parasite. I mean, talk about a movie that has you gripped from the very first shot and line of dialogue. This movie has incredible themes of classism and the way that the poor are treated. And I'm telling you, there is not a more important movie that came out this year than Parasite. We need to watch it. It needs to be taught in schools, and we need to analyze this movie for years to come, dude. I think it's an incredible movie that never loses its pace, never loses its grip on you, and absolutely leaves you with a jaw on the floor by the end of its film, by the end of its runtime.
You know, that's another one that's on my list to see, but I just didn't get to it.
Yeah.
And it's one of those where I watched the trailer and I had to go to Raul and go, what the fuck are they talking about?
Yeah.
Because the trailer doesn't explain anything.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
And I also learned one thing from Parasite. I need to get the assistive devices where I'm able to read those subtitles on the device or something, because, oh my God, it was hard squinting at the screen for that. It was hard. Brad, let's go ahead and go into our honorable mentions here, and let's go ahead and go by them. You want to go first? Go tell me your honorable mentions.
I have 5 of them because that's kind of what got left on my list as I was adding stuff. So I'll just throw these out here, and you can comment if you want, Raul. I have Shazam. I have Glass. I have Alita Battle Angel. Detective Pikachu, actually. And then I will go in a little more depth on this last honorable mention, Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. And I didn't put this on my top 10 list. It was my favorite theater experience of the year, but that's because fucking Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes were there. and it was full of Jay and Silent Bob fans. So I can't really compare that movie going experience to like any other one this year.
Yeah. No, I get you. It was really hard. It was really hard to put Parasite below my number one because I was like, just on any given day they could switch. But I was like, this Parasite was my favorite movie experience. But there was just something about my number one, what it brought to the table, and it was kind of dumb of me to ever doubt that my number one could not be my number one. So my honorable mentions are Shazam, of course. That was my favorite superhero movie of the year, and it's a movie that I rewatched recently, and it has so much heart, and I love it. Hustlers, possibly one of the best original films this year. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Dolomite Is My Name, Under the Silver Lake, The Peanut Butter Falcon, High Life from Claire Denis, Us, and Booksmart, the best comedy this year. Great movie. And of course, Noah Baumbach's Marriage Story. So, all these movies, they could have made my list, but they were just not on par with what was on my top 10. I've got to say though, I really recommend all of these movies. These are great movies that came out this year. And I think that this year was so jam-packed, but movies like Hustlers really showed that original films can still go toe-to-toe with the blockbusters.
Well, and I think that's what you got to see some of the Ford v Ferrari, Irishman, Peanut Butter Falcon, Uncut Gems, Dolomite Is My Name.
Yeah.
Those are the diamonds in the rough that, you're not going to get a lot of publicity on until the movie actually comes out and you get word of mouth going, oh, Peanut Butter Falcon? Yeah, that's the shit.
Yeah.
That movie is amazing. You guys got to see that. And then you go see it, you're going, yes, this is. This movie had barely any marketing and it's still fantastic. Kind of like with Parasite, the same thing.
Yeah. And Brad, I believe our number one is the same one.
My number one being Lulu Wang's The Farewell.
Yup. Lulu Wang's the Lulu Wang's The Farewell. It is an incredible picture about loss, about grief, and about just where your family can take you. It's a movie that was really important to me this year. I cried multiple times with it. I'm never one to bring in the emotional connections to movies when it comes to why I like them. Usually, it's just my analysis of what I've learned from a movie that I always take with me. But this was a movie that I just could not help having an emotional connection to. Lost my grandmother this year, man, and it was really tough watching this film.
And I think anyone, personally, this was one of the reasons I was like, you got to see this. And I even went out and bought you the movie.
Yeah.
I'm like, you got to watch this.
I owe Brad a download code.
It's one of those movies where it's not just emotional connection because you lost someone this year, Raul. It's emotional connection to everyone because everyone has lost someone or something.
Yeah,
very personal to them, and that's where I think this movie thrives. Is yes, it's a Chinese and Chinese American family, but at the same time, it connects to everyone. It's universal.
Yes.
And Awkwafina, she deserves an Oscar.
Yes,
I think she was terrific in this. The rest of the cast, they seem like a real family. And that was portrayed in this, and it came across as that way.
The lady who's playing Nai, just incredible. She's incredible.
That last scene, I mean, I managed to keep from crying, and I'm a 33-year-old man, guys. Like, I managed to keep from crying throughout this whole film until that freaking last scene, because anyone who's known their grandparents has had that, where you're saying goodbye.
Yeah. I love this movie, man. Awkwafina was my second favorite actress performance this year. This movie just is it goes deep into your heart, grabs it, caresses it for a bit, and then it allows it to absolutely destroy itself at the end. And it's an incredible movie, and I think that it's so universal, and it's one that will speak to anybody who's ever had to lose somebody that you didn't want to lose at that point. So let's go ahead and do some other stuff. I got here. I've got my best actor, my best actress, my best director, and my best score this year. I have my best actor's performance this year is actually Adam Driver in Marriage Story. He is absolutely visceral in this movie. He is displaying like what's it called, melancholy and just grief and loss so hard in this movie. There's so much layers to Adam Driver in this movie. It's incredible. Before this, it was Joaquin Phoenix for sure, though. But Adam Driver just stole it for me. Brad, what was your favorite actor performance this year?
I gotta give it a tie. So I gotta give it for Adam Sandler in Uncut Gems, and then Matt Damon in Ford v Ferrari. Their two performances are the best I've probably seen out of them at any time. I mean, anybody who's listened to this podcast, at least for the past 3 years, you've heard me make fun of Matt Damon in some form or fashion. And that's why I haven't done the Matt Damon voice when I mentioned Ford v Ferrari, is because I think he's deserving of an Oscar nom.
Yeah,
at least.
It's interesting that you bring up Damon, because a lot of people are bringing up Christian Bale for this movie.
He was great too, but I just loved Matt Damon's performance in this.
Yeah,
just him being Carol Shelby. But yes, the dynamic duo, as we call them in this, I mean, they worked great together.
Yeah. My favorite actor's performance this year was Lupita Nyong'o in Us. Oh my God. How hard must it be to play two people in one movie, dude? But she absolutely goes out of the park with it. It is daunting what she did. She deserves that Oscar. She 100% deserves it, or Awkwafina, but she's not going to get it. I believe it's probably going to go to somebody else, but it's not going to go to her. And it sucks because she 100% deserves it. Brad, your favorite actress was Awkwafina this year, right?
Awkwafina for The Farewell.
Of course. No. I would agree 100% with you. It just Lupita to me took it to another level. Lulu Wang was my favorite director this year. She also made my favorite movie of the year. Her first movie she's ever made, and it was something personal to her. It just goes to show that if you take a chance, you make one of the best movies that I've seen this whole year. My favorite score this year was Hilder's. I don't know how to say her last name, but her score for Joker was amazing. That still gives me the creeps, and I still listen to it every day. All right, man. So, Brad, anything that's left on your watch list that you didn't get to this year that you really want, that you think could have made it into here?
Let me pull it up.
Mine. Look, I have it here. I did not get to watch Judy, Pain and Glory, Jojo Rabbit, Ford v Ferrari, Waves, Doctor Sleep, Queen and Slim, Portrait of a Lady on Fire, Bombshell, Uncut Gems, A Hidden Life, and Little Women and Just Mercy.
So for mine, I gotta say Booksmart.
On who?
Ad Astra, Hustlers, Midsommar. Kind of, that movie kind of freaks me out. The trailer, at least. So I'm like less inclined to go watch that. I'm like, yeah. John Wick 3. Actually, I have not seen yet.
That?
I haven't seen it yet.
Damn.
Yeah, I know, right? The Lighthouse. Let me see. Godzilla King of Monsters.
Ooh, that was on my top 10 for a while as well.
Definitely still not going to see X-Men Dark Phoenix. I don't care how much you pay me or ask me to.
By the way, we're apparently getting...
Abominable?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that's one. I actually watched The Long Shot. That was okay. Last Black Man in San Francisco, I still want to watch.
I'm finishing that one up right now. It is incredible.
Good Boys, I want to watch. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, I haven't seen yet. And there's that new one, Slim and...
Queen and Slim.
Queen and Slim, yes.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, that's been our top 10 list of this year, man. I love doing this list every year because it's so much fun to talk about all the movies we really like. We did it last year, we did it this year, and we'll do it next year. And then, of course, next week we will have our top 10 most anticipated movies of the year. But Brad, we've talked about this a lot on what's it called on the mini pod, because Tony has asked for us to talk about it. But I don't think we can make a whole top 10 of the decade because it's hard. It's really hard. But if I could give one movie that I say was the best movie of this decade, it's and I know I'm biased, but it was my favorite movie. It's my favorite movie of all time. It's Beautiful from Alejandro González Iñárritu.
That is a great movie.
It's a great movie and fantastic. It's a perfect movie to me. But I know that you probably can't choose one because it's hard. It's hard, dude.
Actually, I already know one.
What?
That would be The Farewell.
All right. All right, man. It's been a wonderful time here. I love doing this top 10. It's always a lot of fun. And I hope we get to do it next year when we finish 2020. Let's see if this 2020 will go toe-to-toe with 2019.
Oh, you know what? I haven't finished yet.
Mm-hmm.
That is on my watch list still. Jojo Rabbit.
Yep. How are you liking it so far, though?
I've only gone like a third or halfway through the movie.
Oh, okay.
I mean it's good, but I don't see. And see, I need to watch the whole thing before I can make a determination because I'm not seeing like what Wesley and what Tony are talking about yet. But I'm sure with the full story, like it might come into focus more.
Well, man, let's go ahead and get into our our producer shout outs. So let's go ahead and get these in here. Ninja Flippy, Man Captain Pokey, Esports Phoenix, Literally Nico, Emerus, Pages Beaston, Brown Rice 1996, and Sarah M with 2 A's, EMM. Thank you so much for being the producers of the podcast this month because you donated to our cause and helped us out to get this new computer, which apparently I don't understand yet, and it's almost been like a month with it. So I'm gonna get there. But thank you so much. Sarah is our associate producer along with Cassie. Bryce as well is an executive producer along with Grayson Barker 98 on Instagram. Warlord 1bar on Twitter. That's his new @ So go and follow him. And Shane is also an executive producer, but you can find him where, Brad?
At twitch.tv/SWRWK or on Twitter at SWRWK Twitch.
All right, man. Go in and do that. Go to thenerdcore.com and check out our reviews and awesome stuff we do there. I'm going to have a post about my top 10 of the year as well on there, just for those of you who like to check out the blog as well. And yeah, I think we're going to have ourselves a good end of the year with all the stuff we're going to review. But next year will be even better, man. I can't wait. We've already have a lot of great movies that are going to come next year. It's going to be interesting to see what will be our number one next year. So, Brad, let's go ahead and get into this. And it's been your Nerd Chicano. I'm signing off. Brad, go ahead and send them into the podcast void. We have a freaking awesome show to review next.
All right, Ro. Thank you for being host as always. Thank you to all our listeners out there, all our Patreon supporters. We truly appreciate each and every one of you who have continued to listen throughout the year and who have just found us. So to that, I say thank you. And to end this episode, I will say we will gladly see you and be there to review movies next year. Young Yoda.